So let's continue on with this discussion of the crisis at our southern border. As the Congressman and I were just discussing, the numbers don't lie. The fact is, the amount of illegal drugs, whether it be cocaine, heroin, marijuana, and the big one, prescription pills, especially fentanyl, it is staggering, folks. If you're watching from Ohio to California, from Maine to Florida, it doesn't matter. Look at your local newspaper. There are the amount of deaths from teens, 20-something, 30-something-year-olds is on the rise in the last 6 months. And most of those deaths are fentanyl related. And you heard the Congresswoman say it's just pouring across like candy. They're seeing increases of 200, 300, 400% of the amount of drugs you saw coming across our border just 6, 7 months ago. Different reports I've seen, just shocking. Mainstream corporate activist media, though, they actually are starting to discuss it a little bit. Take a look at this headline. More fentanyl seized by CBP so far in 2021 than all of 2020. Thanks, ABC News, for getting with the program. Methamphetamine seizures are more slowly approaching 2020 levels. But think about that. Fentanyl, higher than all last year, and we already knew those numbers were staggering with people being stuck at home with all the COVID lockdowns. And now we're seeing these kind of numbers. According to Customs and Border Patrol officials, drug seizures are up 56% just this year. In April, at our southern border, 6,494 pounds of fentanyl seized in comparison to last year. Wow, think about that. So let's bring out our next guest. This is a guy who knows a lot about what's going on at our southern border and the effects that it's going to have on Americans with all the drugs coming in from the cartel. He's actually been in the trenches out there fighting this scum. He's a former director of the DEA Special Operations Division. First time on the program. Want to welcome him, Derek Maltz. Derek, thank you for coming on. How are you doing today, sir?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing very well. I'm just trying to get out the messages to the public.
We appreciate you. Hopefully you were able to listen in a little bit of the Congresswoman and I's discussion and her visit down there and what she saw. But I'm sure you have firsthand knowledge, even more than the Congresswoman, about what is going on the drug side of it, being in that Special Operations Division for years. Derek, this is a national crisis. Is it okay for me to say that when it comes to the amount of drugs that have poured in the last 6 months since Biden took over?
Well, first of all, it's a national security crisis combined with a humanitarian crisis and a national health crisis. The Mexican cartels are the enemy of the children. They're engaging in an ongoing deadly assault against the American youth, right? They're working with Chinese transnational organized criminals, and they're killing at record levels. America has to wake up. This is no longer an opioid addiction. This is fentanyl murders and fentanyl poisoning, deliberately poisoning our kids. So you're exactly right. And thank you for, telling the truth and getting the message out to the public, because right now you can't hear this on national news. What you hear is opioid addiction, the same old story, right?
Right.
But when the cartels from the corporate world were dumping 100 billion pills into our communities, nobody was doing anything about it. So, of course, people got addicted. But now the cartels, multi-billion-dollar industry, they're taking advantage of the addicted population, and they're also making billions from the migrant smuggling. So they have a perfect storm going at the border, 100%.
Yeah. I recall reading an article that said back in 2008, we had maybe 6,700 to 7,000 overdose deaths because of opioids. That then shot up from 2008 into the teens to averaging 57 to 60-some thousand. And then I just read an article that last year it broke 112, 120? Almost doubled.
Okay, so Dan, let me explain something to you.
Yeah.
First of all, the CDC stats for 2020 revealed 93,000 dead from drugs, right? But we already know that that's way underreported.
Right.
Because they don't have a good system of reporting overdose deaths and the classification of the drugs. Georgetown did a study in 2016 to report some of the discrepancies. That being said, when COVID was going on, we got daily reports on COVID cases, COVID deaths, but now we can't even get accurate statistics because nobody wants to highlight that the porous border is allowing the cartels to operate freely throughout America, but our kids are dying. There's 254 kids a day dying. I work with the families around America. I like to show this only because the story is powerful. See this girl? She was coming home from Arizona State University as a senior. Alexandria Capilouto from California. She went to a room. She ordered a pill on Snapchat. Her parents found it dead, right? This is happening all around America on a daily basis. But nobody's reporting that because they want you to say, it's the same old thing. It's overprescribing. No, it's the cartels in China working together to destroy us.
Yes, thank you. So glad you pointed that out. It's not, and there is cases, obviously, of ridiculous and stupid doctors prescribing to teens and 20-year-olds, and they get addicted to Vicodin, Oxycontin,
100%.
whatever. But what you're saying is so true, and it needs parents listen to what he's saying. Is these are the illegal, especially the fentanyl that's coming in, and then the kids think they're buying, like you said, online or from a buddy. They think they're buying an Oxy or they're buying a Vicodin, but guess what? It's got fentanyl in it, and then it kills them.
So Dan, let me give you a really good stat. So I follow this daily. I work with the DEA and the other agencies on a regular basis. So in DEA Phoenix, Arizona, right? In 2015, they seized 0 Mexican Oxy pills.
Okay.
In 2020, they seized 6 million.
Holy.
Now, listen to this. This is important. The DEA lab has done an analysis on the counterfeit pills that they've seized. And the analysis reveals that 26% of the pills have a lethal dose of fentanyl.
Oh, my God.
That means 1 in 4 is going to kill an American. Okay? That's never happened in the history of this country. And by the way, the cartels are operating like global terrorists, and that's what we've been trying to do.
You said they're connected with China, so now I'm sitting here and we're almost out of time, but I got to put this together, what you just said. Typically, as a drug dealer, you don't want to kill your customers, but if you're getting them from China, this is a way to kill off Americans. You're saying 26%.
So China, the unrestricted warfare of China, right, is to destroy their adversary. America's an adversary. So now what they're doing is they're providing all the chemicals to make the drugs in the labs in Mexico, letting the Mexican cartels do the dirty work, but they're watching our kids die every day at record numbers. So America's sleeping and they're not getting the right information. So thank you so much for your network to be able to push this out to the public.
Derek Maltz, former director, DEA Special Operations Division. No, thank you for going out there and being a loud voice. We will have you back on the program anytime, sir. Parents, wake up, pay attention. Young people, don't take stuff you don't know what you're taking. Derek, thank you. God bless you. Take care, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it.